welcome to episode 4 of the Everyday Living Recipes with Love podcast. Today is a very special episode, so special that it comes in 2 parts, and today is part 1. This episode will be recipes that my family picked out for the cookbook for the radio station. The first recipe that we're going to discuss today is one my mom picked out to put in. And then there's one in the middle that has no name on it. I'm still going to share it. It's a enchilada casserole, but it has no name on it. And then the one I picked out for the cookbook is the last one I'll share today. So that's what the episode's going to be about today. And I'm super excited to read through these recipes. And it's kind of fun to read back on them. So the first one is from my mom. She picked out, because Grandma wanted us to pick out all her family. She wanted to pick out one recipe, and then you would put your name in it, and then you'd put like daughter of her or granddaughter of her or whatever you were, grandson, and or just my dad's son-in-law. He was in there too. She involved everybody, which was so cool. And I think even one recipe, which I will not be discussing on part 1, but for part 2, she had my whole family. So we just put our last name family on the side of this recipe, and we all picked it out. So that was kind of neat. So we're going to start off with my mom's pick, and it is called apple dip. It's very simple. It's just a dip. It looks very, very delicious for people who like apple dip. So this one's very simple. It's going to take seconds to discuss, and I'm sure everybody's had it before, but this was just my mom's favorite and what she wanted to put in here for this 60th anniversary. So apple dip, you have 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese softened, 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So you're just going to blend well and serve with apples. Dip apples in fruit fresh. So that's the apple dip. Very, very simple. I'm not a big fan of apples or apple pies or any of that. I'm kind of very picky actually. But I'm sure most people love apple dip and apple pie. So if you like that, that's the very simple recipe of the apple dip that my mom picked out. I will read it one more time. 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese softened, 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You're going to blend well and serve with apples and dip your apples in it. Sounds super good. Now, this second recipe that we're going to discuss today has no name on it, but it sounds really, really, really good if you like enchiladas. It's like a casserole, enchilada casserole. And casseroles are super easy. I love making casseroles. You just kind of put it in a dish and you put it in the oven. So it's very easy. This recipe is going to start with 1 pound of hamburger, 1 can cream of mushroom soup, 1 can of cream of chicken, 1 can of cheddar cheese soup, 1 12-count package of corn shells, onion optional, and green chilies optional. I like those things are optional. Most recipes don't give you the option, but I don't like onions and green chilies, and I'm sure most people don't either. So that's a good thing that it says optional, because usually when it says that, the flavor doesn't get messed with. So that's the good thing about that. So the instructions are very long here, so I'm going to try to go at a pace where it's not all jumbled together and not talk too fast like I am now. So you're going to grease with cooking spray a 13 by 9 inch casserole dish, brown hamburger, take a couple of heaping tablespoons of mushroom and chicken soup. Heaping. I haven't heard that in a long time. That was like the old-fashioned way of saying a very generous tablespoon, right? That's just funny because I remember her saying that sometimes too. So again, since I laughed at that, you take a couple of heaping tablespoons of mushroom and chicken soup. Then you mix with the hamburger, enough to make hamburger saucy. You pour a small amount of milk in hamburger mixture. So that probably just means just a little bit because it doesn't have it on the ingredient list. So I'm guessing just like a little dash. Can you say that with liquid stash? A little dash of milk. We're going to use all the old sayings in this podcast episode. Okay, so then you're going to return to heat and simmer. Remove from heat and fill each corn shell. Place in casserole dish. You fold shells and put one or more toothpicks through each shell to close the best you can. And then with a spoon, you're going to dot from left to right the mushroom soup, then chicken soup, then cheese soup. You bake at 375 for approximately 15 to 20 minutes or to desired doneness. Variations can add enchilada sauce. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that it didn't have enchilada sauce on the ingredients. So that would be kind of what I would do. I would add some enchiladas. Now, I don't know what that means, doniness. This is all old terms for me. I knew what the other two meant, but I'm sure people know what that means. I'm just not up with the times. I'm a younger generation, so I don't know what that means. But that's the enchilada casserole. So I was thinking about repeating that another time, but it's a lot. So I don't know. Do you want me to repeat it? I guess I'll repeat it one more time. 1 pound of hamburger, 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, 1 can of cream of chicken soup, 1 can of cheddar cheese soup, 1 12-count package of corn shells, onion optional and green chilies optional. Grease a 13 by 9 inch casserole dish. Brown hamburger. Take a couple of tablespoons of mushroom and chicken soup and mix with hamburger. To make hamburger saucy, pour a small amount of milk in mixture. Return to heat to simmer. Remove from heat and fill each corn shell. Place in a casserole dish and fold shells with toothpicks in them to keep them together as much as possible. With spoon, you dot from left to right the mushroom soup, then chicken soup, then cheese soup. Bake at 375 for 15 to 20 minutes. And then add your enchilada sauce, it says, but I think I would do that before baking, obviously. So, that is the enchilada casserole. What's your guys' favorite casserole? I have one more casserole recipe to share on this episode, and this is the one that I picked out. Now, before I share this one, I am reading through it now, and it brings back a lot of memories. I remember eating this a lot and wanting my mom to cook it. That's probably why it's in here. And recently, my mom has made a version of this at my house. I asked her to make it before I even knew it was in here. Like, I don't remember what I picked out. And so when we got these cookbooks, when we went through some of her stuff when she passed, I looked through it and I found the one I put in here, and it just made me so emotional because I picked it out without even knowing it was in this cookbook. And I wanted my mom to cook that for me for dinner one night. It's just such a sweet memory for me. And it's so sweet that I picked something out that I didn't even know was like in memory of her, basically. And it was just so sweet to read back on this one and to remember when my mom did cook it, because it was so good and my favorite casserole. I still love it because the only reason why I loved this casserole the best is because I never really cared for cream of mushroom. I don't like that and stuff. I really don't. And so my mom would always try to find a cream of something soup that would take its place, like the mushroom, cream of mushroom. And she's like, well, let's try cream of potato. So I didn't even know they made that, but that's what she used for me and my brother, I think. I think me and my brother were both very picky and we disliked the same things. So in the house, she would have to find alternatives for stuff. I'm still kind of a picky eater, but with age, I think your taste buds kind of change. And so mine have changed. I like a lot more things now. But then I was a very picky eater. Very, very picky. So I just wanted to share that fun fact with you before I got started. So this recipe means a lot to me, especially more now that I know it's in here and I picked it. But it's still so surreal that I picked it. I was missing her, and we got together to talk because I was kind of struggling, and I picked it. I couldn't believe it. So that was just a sign to know she was there with me. So this recipe is called hash brown casserole. Sounds yummy already, right? So you need squares of hash browns, like the squares you buy from like Walmart. I think Walmarts have them, where they're just the squares, kind of like the ones you get at McDonald's, but a little bit bigger. 1 can of potato soup. Now, they don't say cream in here, but I remember it's cream of potato. So, and then you're going to use 1 8-ounce carton of sour cream, 1 pound of sausage or hamburger, and 1 8-ounce package of cheddar cheese shredded. So, you're going to soften the hash browns in a microwave. Cover bottom of a 9 by 13-inch pan. I'm assuming that means put like paper down. I don't know. Brown meat and drain grease. Add soup and sour cream to meat. Mix well. Pour over hash browns. Spread evenly. Cover top with cheese. Bake at 350 for 45 minutes to an hour. And this is so good, by the way. You guys have to try it. It is so delicious. Now I want to make another batch of it. So, I am super stoked that I got to share that with you. And I'm going to read it one more time for somebody who's maybe writing it down or something. Squares of hash browns, I'm assuming 1 package of them. 1 can of potato soup. Cream of potato. 1 8-ounce carton of sour cream. 1 pound of sausage or hamburger. Now, I don't know. I can't remember which one she used. I think it was hamburger in the one I used to have at home. I don't ever remember her making it with sausage, but that would be really good. Yeah. I think next time I make it or like have her make it for me, I'm going to try the sausage because now that I'm thinking of it, I don't think I've ever had it like that. And like maybe just like a regular sausage or even a maple sausage would be good in it. Add some flavor, some sweetness. And then you're going to have 1 8-ounce package of cheddar cheese shredded. So you're going to soften the hash browns in microwave. Cover bottom of a 9 by 13 pan. Brown meat, drain grease, add soup and sour cream to meat. Mix well, pour over hash browns, spread evenly. Cover top with cheese. Bake at 350 for 45 minutes to an hour. And that, my friends, is the recipe that I used to love. So that is super cool. So what was your favorite recipe we shared today? They all sound good, except I'm not a big apple fan. So my mom's, I guess you could like dip it in anything, really. I mean, maybe not apples, just something else, another fruit or something. Strawberries might go good with it. I don't know. Not bananas, probably. I like bananas. I like pineapple, but that wouldn't go good with it. I'm just trying to think of some fruits that I like. But apples is the only thing you can really dip it in, though. I mean, it's long enough to dip. A strawberry would be long enough to dip, I think. But I don't know. I think it'd be good with anything. You could add some more ingredients in there for another fruit or something. The ideas are endless, right? So, um, everybody can already guess what one's my favorite. But the enchilada casserole, I really have to try sometime, minus the cream of mushroom. No thanks. I will not have that in my stuff. I almost said in my soup. So, but anyway, other than that, it really sounds super good. And you just kind of throw it in a casserole dish. If anybody wants to email in with their favorite casseroles, I would love to share your guys' thoughts, not your recipes. I won't share your recipes if you don't want me to. But this is just a place to talk about all those kind of things and relate to others. So that has been part one of the family picks of the cookbook for the radio station. Part two will include, I think, 4 more recipes that my family picked out. I think my brother's is next and my dad. And then, okay, there's only 3, I think, because my dad picked one out, my brother picked one out, and then we all as a family put our name on one. So I guess there's only 3, but I think one of them is another casserole, if I remember correctly. Um, I think the one we picked out as a family is super unique because I remember having it a couple times, and I can't wait to share that with you. And this has been such a interesting journey for me to read back on these and to kind of remember her in my mind of her being on the radio show and talking about these recipes and mentioning the ones we liked and what she cooked for this and that, and just her being on there. I just picture her voice and picture, I don't know, just the way the show began and the way she would just talk to everybody like they were family. It just comes back to me a lot when I'm doing this. And I really wish that she was here and she could join me on these episodes. I think she would really enjoy that. And it just makes me think a lot about her and just everything. And it makes me so happy to be sharing this with you again. And maybe some people that did listen to her and can relate to all these recipes again and loving that I'm bringing them back. So this these episodes are really hard to get in like the 20-minute mark or the 30-minute mark. I've been trying my best to get them in that area for every episode, but it's kind of hard because I feel like I talk too fast or I just maybe I can do better. Maybe it's me, but sometimes it's hard to squeeze like 3 or 4 recipes into 20 minutes because these are really easy recipes and they don't take very long to share at all. And so, but I'm trying my best, right? That's all I can do. I'm trying to make these long enough so you guys can enjoy a long episode and not like a short and sweet one. I'm trying to think of other things that I can add to the episodes to make them kind of longer, or just doing what I'm doing now and just chatting and talking about absolutely nothing. So, but I will get better at this. This is only the 4th episode, so give me some slack here. I've been trying my best to learn all the ins and outs of this. It is so fun, though. I have so much fun. So the email for this podcast again is everydaylivingrecipeswithlove@gmail.com. And that's where you can email with your thoughts or anything you want to discuss about the episode. And I'm so excited to share the part 2 and read back on these other recipes that bring back so many memories for me and my family. And they might even be listening to this and going, hey, I remember that recipe. Or anybody that even listened to her, like, hey, I remember all these. And now I can write it down again. They're coming back. um, yeah, this is just makes me so happy. So I'm gleaming with joy if you can't tell. So just email in if you have anything you want to add to this episode. And I'm trying to make it to 20 minutes. I know it's so hard. I have like, what, 6 seconds left? I don't know. So I'm trying to find something else to talk about, but I promise I'll get better at these, and I promise I'll find different things to talk about. So I'm really, really glad that you joined me today for the fourth episode. And please don't miss the part two. It'll be super interesting for me as well because I'm reading back on these like it's my first time. So we're learning together. I am just so happy I get to share her legacy through all this and her memory. And I love her so much. I hope she's resting easy and she's proud of me doing this. And I want everyone else to have a fabulous day. And I hope you've enjoyed my podcast so far. And if you have, please rate it on my Facebook page if you've liked it or followed it over there. Usually that's the only way you can actually listen to these right now. I don't have it on Spotify or YouTube or anything like that yet. So I guess you have to like my page to know about it or if someone shared it. But just rate my page and rate and tell me what you think. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts. And I made it to 21 minutes. So I hope everyone has a fabulous day, and I can't wait to do part two. I will see you soon. Bye.